Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Phillips coming to you on a Sunday afternoon. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're enjoying the reading of Antigone. It's an incredible play. I appreciate some of the thoughtful posts on our discussion lists. I hope that each and every one of you can, respond thoughtfully 2 or ideally 3 times. First, your initial posting. That gives me a great sense that you've done the reading and put some thought into it and made some connections to past, present, maybe also future, um, so that we're thinking about freedom and personal autonomy almost without borders, but at the same time in a way that connects deeply with each and every one of us. As you read the second half of the play, think about the laws of unintended consequences, among other things. Creon's decision led to a lot of disastrous, unexpected acts. His own son, Hymen, was betrothed to Antigone. He decided to take his own life out of despair, so the king lost his own son as a result of his act. There were a lot of things that happen when we make fateful decisions that quite often they don't turn out at all in the way that we expected, even not like in this case, but even when we have the best of intentions. And even when Creon finally listened enough to call off his order, by that time it was too late, and Antigone and his own son had killed themselves. And it can lead to a lot of repercussions for society at large when we decide to sort of play God or make godlike decisions that determine the fates of others. And quite often they do not at all turn out the way that one might expect. Think about anyone who has that kind of power and authority to make decisions that impact so many lives. There's just so much to unpack in this play. I don't want to lead you in any one direction, but I do hope you'll continue to indicate to me that you've read thoughtfully and thoroughly the play, that you're making thoughtful connections, and that you're really following on to what others have to say in our discussion lists, and then you'll sort of wrap things up with your own one-page response paper each week. But I think this play was a brilliant way to start things off, and I'm of course fascinated. I'd like to know maybe more about what you think about Ismene's decision to try to take the blame away from Antigone. It didn't. She wasn't successful, but again, there are people who stand up for those who are even more defenseless, and that's another interesting theme for me. Those who are willing to take the heat or the blame, even if they face the worst consequences imaginable, instead of allowing other people to, even if they're not the ones who did any sort of act themselves. And so these are themes that really resonate with me. I was thinking also. Let me go about the closing of the play, and when the chorus uh, seems to close it sort of with this effort at consolation. What's the message? What's the theme? Is it that the gods punish those who have hubris, who are too prideful? Does punishment also, out of its seeds, does this wisdom spring? Does that have to be that way? Can we make wise choices and wise decisions without having to have either endured a tragic outcome ourselves or have been the ones who made a decision that didn't have to be made in that way, and that led to unexpected tragic outcomes? So it's really important to think about all these connections, to understand how one's actions can precipitate events. Have you ever acted in a way where you thought you had good intent? May not have been a popular action, but that the consequences were not such that you thought they would be. Have you ever done something maybe not out of goodwill, maybe out of ill will? And even so, did it sort of spiral out of control? Or do you see that happening anywhere today? The law of unintended consequences. And can you relate that, bring it back in full circle to the play, and maybe include a quote or two from the chorus, from the king? Just lots of different things. So think about that. And as always, the idea with this course is to be really conscientious in your replies, to make connections, to use your critical, creative thinking skills to make an array of connections with things. And then, to maybe sort of bring things home even further in your responses. Again, I'm not expecting you to spend hours and hours on this. I know how many other things you have to do, but this play fascinates me endlessly, and it was one of the plays that I was brought up on as the grandchild of a Greek grandmother who was the first Greek teacher of language and culture in the Tampa Bay region. This kind of stuff was kind of thrust on me, not as a student, or at least while all of my friends over the summer were going to the pool and enjoying the beach and things like that. I was under the tutelage of Greek language and culture. I don't mind. It led to me doing a lot of fun things today, and also still enjoyed the beach and the pool and lots of other things besides. So enjoy. Feel free to email me or contact me at any time, and I'll look forward to this week's discussion. And again, just make sure that you've thought about the themes, that I get a real clear sense that you read now the second half of the play, and that it'll be a good springboard for everything that's to come. Thanks a lot.